All right, Squarespace is offering a ton of new features to their platform, and they're just piling it in alongside all the other great tools and resources they have. If you haven't seen, I just released a video recently on new features for the whole platform. I just released a video about courses. Now I'm gonna talk about a new feature, a completely new feature that might have taken you by surprise if you didn't expect this one. I'll just say it this way, I was not expecting this one to come, but this is really cool. So we're gonna go into my demo website in Commerce right here, and we're gonna take a look at something called project management. Project management offers you a lot of cool benefits to your site, your experience, and how you work with clients. You are now able to send custom invoices, have a profile in the back end of your Squarespace site, from form submission all the way to the end of a project, to manage your client relationships in the back end of Squarespace. This is my first take on this, and so I'm gonna take you through this experience as I learn it and see what they've done here on project management. Now, the first thing you're gonna notice is a few key elements. Add a portfolio, start a project, or collect a payment. What's crazy about this is that these three things can help you if you're a photographer, if you're a designer, if you're creating social media assets. Like, there are so many ways you can use this. Even if you're designing Squarespace websites for clients, you could use this tool. Now, what's really cool about when you add a profile is that you actually might not need to start with blank information. Let me show you what I mean. If I do add a profile here, you can have all this information, add it in and go from there. But if you have form submissions on your website, you could actually start with the form submission by going to marketing and then going to profiles. Then in here, you're gonna see this thing that says form submitters. And so you add a form to your website, you should have content here, but let me show you. Okay, so here's a look at Launch Happy. Anytime someone submits a form on the website now, it goes to your email, it goes to any of the places you tell it to go, but it also goes onto the back end of your site. So you have this database of all the forms being submitted, which honestly, that in itself is a huge addition to the platform. But you'll see here that if I click into one of these, you get these options where it says, hey, what are the form details? And then you could click into that, and then you could click on the actual new form, and then it'll show you what they wrote. But what's so cool about this, which I love, is you could do create a project. So let's say someone inquires on your website. Well, you can go from inquiry to create a project, and then you've basically just created a profile for them, and then you have a page that looks something like this. Now, like, this is incredible, right? There's so many things happening here that we could take a look at. I'm gonna take one step back and go to project management and just show us where we came from here. So we have these projects. We had add a portfolio, start a project, collect payment. Well, I'm gonna click into this first one here. This is the one we just created. We could add in milestones, invoices, all of that. What I'm gonna do right now is add in a milestone, which we're gonna say by August 31st, add a description here, sign proposal. Not really sure kind of what this milestone does or looks like, but this is giving us kind of deadlines and a roadmap ahead, it looks like. So I could come in here and check this off. Uh-oh. I hope that didn't just send them an email. It might have just sent, I don't know if it sent them an email. Let's see. Or just checked it off. But here it goes. Next milestone is sign proposal. Okay, cool. Milestones are cool. Not really sure what they do. They might just be internal use for project management, but we'll see. Create invoice. Let's see what this looks like. So you could come in here. You could add in details. Okay, cool. We could add in line items, photography, services. Just do design. Item type, service or physical. Service, we'll do Cool, so that's been updated. Then from there, all the details. Now what's so cool about this is now you're able to make payments through your Squarespace site, not through a random PayPal invoice, especially if they're smaller payments. You could do this right through the platform. You don't need ACH payments. Like if you don't need ACH payments or kind of wires or things like that, you could just have this and do everything instead of using PayPal, which at the end of the day, it's still gonna go through PayPal or Stripe, but now you don't need those extra services. So there, boom, we just create the invoice. They'll send this to the client directly. And then we'll go to styles, take a look. This just changes the like global styles of the email, but it's basically pulling the global styles from other emails already. When is it due? Get rid of due upon receipt. You could choose a day, all of that. Item name, design. You could add other line items, add a discount. This is cool that you could just like add the discount immediately, and we're good to go. Now, I don't want to hit send, and I would love to actually have a link that I could copy and send to them versus just an email. But in this case, this is kind of where we're starting. What do I do here? Edit, delete, that's it. Okay, so there's no other options. As you can see here, the start of this though does have a lot of power and potential to really give you a lot of tools to manage your clients in Squarespace, especially if you don't want to use a third-party tool or you just have other things that you do, but it's more custom. So for example, as a website designer, a client might come to me and say, I need a specific service. And I'll say, okay, that'll be $400. Well, I would go to PayPal, create the invoice and like go through that process, but I could just do that here. They already know the brand, they know the website, all of that. I would love to see the actual email that goes to the client and the invoice, which I'll take a look at later. But for the sake of this video, we've covered the key aspects of project management. And the fact that this is where they're starting with this tool really excites me for the potential of what this can become over time and the benefits it could offer to you. Now, I mentioned a moment ago, if you're taking big payments, I highly would not recommend this tool because you cannot do wires, you cannot do transfers, you cannot send like an invoice that then they pay via a different method. If you send the invoice, you give them a pay link where they could pay with a credit card, which is not ideal in big payments. What I also find a little bit complicated here is I don't really understand the email threads and how emails are working in these conversations. So there's a milestone. I just checked off a milestone and I'm not sure if this potential client actually just got an email from me saying this aspect of the project was done. And then I don't really know if milestones are just added manually every time, because I probably will be doing the same style projects over and over again. And so I definitely wouldn't want to go through the headache of doing that again and again and again. So come in here, let me see. Yeah, as far as I can tell right now, you'd have to add in milestones again and again for every client. So in some cases, I honestly wouldn't even use that. I would just use it for the invoicing to be able to send invoices directly through my Squarespace site via the email versus having to use a PayPal or any third-party tool. But then again, the other thing I like about PayPal is that I could just send the link because I want to be able to control, I've done this since the beginning, I want to be able to control sending the link, not just some separate email. Like I want to give context to the email. Like, especially if I'm quoting somebody, hey, I think we're gonna do this, 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 and the investment's gonna be this much. If you wanna get started, click here, versus a random email that just says you owe this much money out of the blue. I'd like to be able to position the email in the best way possible. So there are a few limitations I see to this to start out, but overall, I think it's a really amazing tool that is gonna add a lot of value to a lot of people very quickly.